celebratory time again in the north woods of Wisconsin, whether it's fish, fowl, or whitetail venison, where we're cleaning our catch with Thanksgiving in our hearts. A subsistence that's common among ethnicities and cultures throughout northern Wisconsin and throughout the ages. When my boys were 5 and 6 years of age, they were on the back steps of our home in northwest Wisconsin with sharp fillet knives, cleaning our catch. The 4 of us going out fishing for bluegills, perch, and crappies. And so I'm going to just show you real quick how I clean a crappie, since a lot of you have followed me. First of all, this crappie is about 12 inches in length. They're called paper mouths for a reason, and you have to be careful when you catch them, because the hook easily will pop right out of this and then get themselves off. You don't want to get them dancing on the top of the water where they can shake that off, so you try to keep them down and low until you can get them next to the boat and you can net them. This is, like I said, 12 inches. Your average crappies are about 8 inches and about hand size. They'd have to have a good chunk of shoulder meat to bother keeping them at that point. Some lakes, they're smaller. They can get up to about 15 inches, which would be about to here. And that's considered a really big crappie for northeast Wisconsin. Well, we don't get that many of those. Been on some lakes, Lake Wishinu and Lake Nottellen and a few others that have had some 14 and a half inch crappies, and it's pretty fun when you get those and excited, because they fish with 4-pound test fluorocarbon and leader, and that on a rod that's medium light action, and that can give you a good fight. It's a lot of fun. So crappie's pretty straightforward on a fillet. Walleye is a little trickier with some bones and different ways you got to navigate and cut those. Pike, you're going to end up with about 5 fillet because they have Y bones. I'm just going to show you a basic technique. I like to say that I can fillet a postage stamp. So we're going to get as much meat off this as we can. One thing about hunting and fishing, you learn respect of the meat, of the kill that you've taken, the harvest, and out of respect for the game and for the Lord that provided, we take it very serious. That we try to get, without waste, as much meat as we can. So I'm using a very sharp fillet knife and going underneath the fin, the pectoral fin. I'm coming underneath the gill plate. I'm going to come right down into the top of the shoulder, turn the knife. I'm holding the fish here as steady as I can with a camera. Normally I like to stick my finger in the mouth and then one finger behind the guide, the gill. And so I'm going to hold it here steady. Hopefully you can still see this well. I don't have anybody else helping me with the camera. You guide the knife along through the back, just above the dorsal fin here, okay? And when you're bumping along the rib cage in here, the rib cage is about this shape here. And when you get to the back part, right about, going to be right about here. Okay, now you're free and clear. You're going to take that knife and you're going to ride it right along the top of the spine, poke it through and out the back, just above the anal, the vent. And you push down the flat part of the knife along the spine, guide that knife right out the back. Might just do 1/2 for you here so the video is not so long. One thing about camera angle here and doing it by myself is it's really hard to kind of show you how to cut into this and get a proper angle. But I don't want to waste meat either. It's very difficult to imagine the camera angle and do justice, because justice is what we want. Again, out of respect, we want to get all the meat. I follow along the rib cage. When I get just up to the top of the rib cage, and you got to watch the fingers on the other side here, you're cutting towards, kind of pull back a little bit as you're doing this. When you get up to above the rib cage, it starts curving down, and there's meat on the other side of that rib cage. So we're going to change our angle. These little bones right here, part of the rib cage, they can show up in the meat. So we're going to test that after. Yeah, here I am playing around with the camera angle, and I got it now. And I failed to get underneath there, so I'm going to have a little tear on that skin there. So I'm going to go down underneath, try to get all the meat I can. right down to the belly. And then I'm going to cut through. And now I've got my fillet. And you can see right here, the knife went up and then it goes down and over. But because of the camera angle, I missed a little bit of meat there, but we got most of it. Pretty good. Now I'm going to take a paper towel real quick and wipe this off so it's not so slick. Getting old, I'm more cautious than I used to be. I like to keep a clean area. I got a knife that's sharp. Takes me longer to heal up, I guess, than before. But you can see how that paper mouth. See what I'm talking about? You can lose you lose enough of crappies too when you fight them because you're not careful. That hook can rip right out of there. All right, I said I was going to just do one fillet to save on film time. So let me show you what we do now with that fillet. I'm going to take a regular dinner fork. I'm going to cut down. I'm going to hold that hide down, that skin. And I'm exerting pressure down in the... Nice thing about this blade is see how it flexes? So I'm going to push down, slide it along the skin with pressure. All the way through. So we get all the way out. There we go. And now what we have here is just the hide, the skin. Throw that away. Now I'm going to check just a little bit of fat up here. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to double check to make sure I have no bones in here. We're fish tacos. People are going to eat with confidence. We don't want them to get any bones. And perfect. Nice fillet. Good chunky fillet. A little bit more fat right there. There we go. And we're next ready for the other side. So hopefully you found that interesting. That's how we get ourselves a nice bowl of fillets going here. It takes about 4 of these for my wife and I to have a dinner, just the 2 of us. And then there might even be some leftovers. So that should be good enough for probably about 3 meals for us, from what I caught. So the other thing, so you should know is that as far as fishing regulations are concerned, you're allowed a double limit of your species. Panfish in general, that would be perch, bluegills, and crappies, in your freezer. So you got to make sure you eat. You can't catch and store endlessly. So we do have rules, regulations, and it's always fun just to catch them and let them go too. So hopefully we can get in some walleyes. Hope you appreciated that. Now we're going to take just a moment here and be thankful. Have a sip from a nice cup of coffee. And I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you, Lord.